Hey, stop what you're doing for a second. I want to ask you something. When you hear the word AI, like what actually comes up for you? Not what you're supposed to think, not the LinkedIn post version. What actually comes up? Because I've been asking people this lately, casually in conversations, and the range of answers is it's something. Some people go straight to Terminator, robots, end of the world. Some people go, oh yeah, the ChatGPT thing, I have been using it for emails. And some people get this kind of anxious look and change the subject. And then every once in a while, you get someone who just goes quiet for a second and says, honestly, I don't know what to think about it. And those people, I find them the most interesting because I think they are the most honest. Here's what I want to say upfront. I think most people are completely wrong about AI, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. I include myself in this, by the way, and I've been wrong about it multiple times, and I'll be probably be wrong again. But the kind of wrong I am talking about is structural, like the mental picture most of us are carrying around doesn't match what's actually happening, and the gap between the picture in your head and the reality, that gap is where decisions actually live, where missed opportunities live, and where unnecessary fear lives. So that's what today is about. Just let's try to get closer look on what's actually true with no hype, no doom. Just let's think about it together. So, okay. So first, why now and why is this the conversation to be having right now in this specific moment? Because it's not theoretical anymore. That's the thing. Like a few years ago, you could think you could kind of have this conversation as an intellectual exercise. Oh, interesting, AI, fascinating. Let's see where it goes. But that window is closed now. Like AI is already inside the systems that are making decisions about our lives. And when what the content you see, and when you open your phone, whether your loan gets approved, and what price you are shown for a flight ticket that you have been eyeing, and what gets flagged in your medical scan, it's already there, it's already operating. And most people, the most smart, most capable, thoughtful people, are working with a mental model of AI that was built from movies and headlines and vibes. And that's the problem. Not like a catastrophic problem, not like a we're all doomed problem, just a practical problem, because how you understand something shapes how you respond to it. And right now, people are responding to AI either with a way too much fear or in a way too much blind enthusiasm. And both of those responses, honestly, are going to cost people. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about, and this is the big one, this is the one that I think causes the most confusion downstream, is this idea that AI is intelligent, like actually intelligent, like we are. And look, I get why people think this. You talk to one of these models and it's good. It's uncomfortably good sometimes. It'll say something that feels insightful, something that feels considerate, and you get this instinct like there's something in there, something thinking, something that gets it. But here's what's actually happening. And I want to give you an analogy because I think it makes this click better than in a technical explanation. Imagine, and just go with me on this. Imagine someone collected basically everything humans have ever written, like books, articles, threads, Reddit threads, scientific papers, song lyrics, conversations, code, etc., and all of it, billions of billions pages. And then imagine you built a kind of map, a statistical map that says, okay, when humans write this sequence of word, here's what tends to come next. When someone asks this type of question, here's what a thoughtful answer looks like. When this problem comes up, here's how people who have solved it tend to talk about it. That map, that extraordinarily detailed, almost incomprehensibly complex map, that's closer to what these AI models actually are. They're not thinking, they are not reasoning from scratch. They are just completing patterns, very, very sophisticated patterns at a scale that produces output that genuinely look like reasoning. But it is not the same thing as reasoning. And here's why that matters in practice, like practically day to day. When AI gives you great answers, the intelligent you're seeing isn't coming from the AI. It's coming from all the humans whose writing and thinking went into training it. It's like the AI is a mirror, and it's an incredibly sophisticated and slightly magical mirror that reflects human intelligence back at you in a useful shape. And mirrors are valuable. I use mirrors every day. I'm a fan of mirrors. But you understand what a mirror can do and cannot do. You don't ask a mirror to have an opinion. You don't trust a mirror to tell you if you are making a mistake. And that distinction, knowing what you are actually dealing with, changes how you use it. Okay, second thing. And I want to be careful here because this one is where I see the most emotional charge on both sides. The idea that AI is going to replace everyone all at once, like a wave hitting, I want to push back on this. Like, not dismiss it, push back on it. Because the real picture is more complicated and honestly, it's more interesting. Here's the thing about jobs that I think people miss. Jobs aren't single things. They're not monolithic. A job is actually a collection of tasks, a dozen of tasks, maybe hundreds. And AI is not coming for jobs. It's actually coming for the tasks, specific tasks that are definable, repeatable, describable tasks. And depending on how many of these tasks in your particular job AI can now do, that's your actual exposure. Right now, today, AI is genuinely excellent at drafting things, summarizing things, finding patterns in huge amount of data, writing code when you give it a clear specifications, and answering questions that have known answers. These are the real capabilities. They are not trivial. But AI is genuinely struggling, like actually struggling, with navigating ambiguity, with reading room, with knowing which problem is even worth solving in the first place, with building real human trust, with anything that requires accountability, with the messy contextual relational stuff that makes up so much of how work actually gets done. So when people say AI is coming for white collar work, yes, some of it. But the part of white collar work that looks like take this information, process it, produce this output, that stuff, yeah. But the parts that look like figure out what's actually going on here, navigate the politics of the organization, build a relationship with the client, make a call when there's no clear right answer, AI is not close to that. We're not even in the neighborhood at. And if you are an entrepreneur and if you are building something, running something, this is actually the most exciting moment you're going to work through in your career. Because what's actually happening in a redistribution of leverage, one person with good knowledge and a suite of AI tools can now do what used to take a team. The person who knows what to build, who to talk to, what question to ask, that person just got dramatically more powerful, not replaced, but amplified. Alright, the third one. This one's a little sneaky because it doesn't feel like misconception until it bites you. People think AI understands their problem, and I have fallen into this myself. You type something out, you get back this really polished, really well structured response, and you think it gets it. It understood what I was asking. Sometimes that's true enough, but sometimes, and this is the dangerous part, sometimes the model is answering the question you asked and not the question you meant. It's answering brilliantly, fluently, confidently, but it's answering the wrong question. And there is no signal. It doesn't hesitate, it doesn't say, wait, I think you might be framing this wrong. It just answers because it's optimized to produce a response not to push back on your premise. And there's this thing that happens with these models, and it's called confabulation, which is when the model produces something that's true, that's formatted like truth, that's delivered with the confidence of truth, but is just wrong or partially made up. And that it does this without any tell. There is no flicker of uncertainty, it's just output, which means you have to bring skepticism yourself. You have to be the one who asks, okay, what did this miss? And what's it assuming? Does this actually hold up? The mental model that's worked for me, and I go back to this a lot, is think of AI like an incredibly well read, incredibly fast intern, someone who has read more than any human ever could, but he has not experienced anything yet, who has no skin in the game and who has never had to live with the consequences of bad decision. Great for research, great for drafts, great for generating options that you hadn't considered, but you still need to be in the room. You still need to be the one with the judgment, with context, with something actually at stake. Okay, I want to go somewhere a little different now, because I think there's a frame that most people are missing entirely, and it's actually the most important one. Most people think AI as a tool, like a better search engine, like a sophisticated software, and that's not wrong. It's a tool, but I think that frame is too small. It causes you to underestimate what's actually happening. Here's a better frame. Think of AI less like a tool and more like an infrastructure, like the electricity, like the internet. When electricity first arrived, and I think about this a lot, people initially used to do the exact same things they were already doing, just with the electric power instead of other power. They electrified the machines they already had, and it took time, years, decades, before people started imagining things that only made sense because electricity existed, before entirely new industries appeared that couldn't have existed in the world without electricity. We are at the early stage with AI right now. Most people are using it to speed up what they are already doing, which is fine. That's genuinely useful. But the most interesting question, the question I keep turning over, is what's possible now that wasn't possible before? Not like what can I do faster, but what can I do now that literally couldn't have been done? What businesses can make sense now that couldn't have existed 3 years ago? What problems are worth trying to solve now that weren't worth trying before? Those are the questions that matter. And the people sitting with those questions right now, quietly without making a lot of noise about it, they are the people who are going to look very smart in 5 years. Let me land this plane because I've been circling for a bit and I want to leave you with something you can actually hold on to. I don't have a clean take on where all this goes. Genuinely, I'd be suspicious if anyone who does. But here's what I keep coming back on. For all the noise around AI, all the fear, all the hype, and all the hot takes, what it's actually doing underneath all of this is asking us a question we'd kind of stopped asking ourselves, which is, what is distinctly human? What do we bring to this world that isn't pattern completion? What do we do that can't be remixed from a sophisticated statistical map for everyone we have already said and done? And I don't think the answer is nothing. I think the answer is actually quite a lot. Judgment, taste, genuine curiosity, the ability to take care about something, uh, the ability to sit across from another person and actually be present with them, the ability to know what's worth doing and what's worth not doing in the first place. None of that is nothing. That's actually everything. But here's the uncomfortable part, and a lot of us have gotten lazy about those things. We have optimized so many parts of our life and our work that we have started to lose touch with what makes us actually irrepressible. And AI weirdly, unexpectedly, is kind of forcing that conversation back upon. So, the thing I want to leave you with isn't about AI, it's really about you. The question isn't whether AI is going to change your industry, your job, your life. It is. That's not a question anymore. The question is whether you are going to be someone that change happens to, or someone who actually has a hand in shaping it. And the difference between those two people isn't the access to better tools. Everyone's got access to the same tools. The difference is the decision to actually engage, to stay curious, to keep asking questions even when the answers are uncomfortable, to not just be a consumer of this moment, but a participant in it. That's the thing most people are missing. It's not a fact about AI, it's a posture, it's choice. Alright, that's what I've got. I'm still figuring this out. Probably got some things wrong in here. And that's okay. That's kind of the whole point. Thanks for being here.